Welcome to Roosevelt Live. We got some topics today we're going to touch on that is going on maybe in Florida and also outside the state of Florida. And one is coming up on Thursday, the law over in Arizona, the immigration law, and how it's applied and who's going to be stopped and for what reasons and et cetera, et cetera. And I know the governor over there, Jan Brewer, she was talking it's actually as early as last night about the come Thursday they'll be preparing to start enforcing the law that they signed into law back in April. And you know, 50%, 55% of people are opposed, actually is for the law, and then the other percentage, obviously the remaining percentage of 45 is against it. And I think it's not the law, it's I think what's creating the problem is how the law has to be applied. And I think there's no way to get around profiling. And that's what bothers me, because if you've ever been a victim of profiling, it's a headache. It's not something that you enjoy. Being questioned when you're in certain areas of town, being pulled over for reasons unbeknownst to you and asked 1,000 questions on why you're in an area, which I assume you can go anywhere you want to go as long as you're not in an illegal area. You should be able to drive anywhere in town you want to drive. So the Arizona law, they keep saying that, well, what's going to happen? Police officer pull you over and for a not for being illegal, but if they pull you over, say for instance, if you ran a red light and they pulled you over, and then if they suspect, and I wonder how they're going to suspect it, they suspect that there's that you're here illegally, they have an opportunity, they have the right to ask to see your credentials. And I'm just not understanding how are they going to, what will they do that will make them suspect that? Because I'm thinking, this is my theory about it. A white male is driving down the road and he runs a red light, and he has a European accent, and he pulls him over, and obviously clearly by talking to him he'll know that he's not necessarily born and raised in the United States. So possibly, I mean, he could be if he traveled back and forth between the two, who knows, but the reality would more than likely he wouldn't be if he has a strong European accent. So is he going to actually honestly ask that guy, when he, or girl, lady, when he giving him a ticket for running the stop sign perhaps, is he going to have that secondary thought and say, can I see your passport? Can I see your green card? Can I see this and that and the other credentials? I don't think so, because that's not going to be in the forefront of his mind. Because subliminally, he's going to be looking at people's skin color. Whether he or she wants to admit it or not, it's just reality. They're going to be looking at the individual skin color, and they're going to be making that assumption that, hey, maybe that darker skinned individual, male or female, maybe they are here illegally, maybe their strong accent may make them feel like the English is so broken that maybe they haven't been here that long, and so they may want to ask them to see some type of paperwork to justify them being in the United States. That's where I'm concerned at. No one, I don't think anybody right now want people to just jump the fences or the walls in Arizona and just crawl underneath them or go over them and come to the United States and just suck up jobs and in some cases actually medical benefits and things, or things that some Americans could be receiving that has paid taxes and worked all their life for. So no one is advocating that. I just think that it has to be a better way. I still think that we should go back to controlling the borders and trying to find a way to combat it. And I also know that the law is also geared toward people hiring illegal people and transporting them and things of that nature. So yes, I'm all for preventing companies from bringing people in illegally, because those companies know that they can work those people out in the overtime. They can work those people for below minimum wages, because they know they're not going to tell anybody because they're here illegal. So that's why a lot of the reason why these people are coming across the borders, because the incentive to get jobs where you may be making $600 a year, you're going to make $600 a week, and that's a whole year's salary. You couldn't live off of $600 a week necessarily. I guess you could if you really pinch your pennies tightly. I imagine some people could. Be a complication for some others. But I do believe that unless we do some other than pulling people over and looking at their skin color, that's what's going to happen. And I think some I think when they did the breakdown and they polled, and this was actually headline news breakdown of the percentages of blacks versus Hispanic versus whites that thought that it would be more of a profiling or racial, it's kind of a discrimination thing. With obviously the number of Hispanics was something like 78% that felt that it would be a problem. Then the number dwindled down from there. but everybody thought it's from some level it may be an issue. And I'm convinced that it's going to be an issue. And I listened to the governor repeatedly say that this is illegal. You can't do things like this. You can't discriminate against people. Well, that don't mean anything. A lot of things are illegal, and people do it anyway. Speeding is against the law, but we write a lot of tickets in this country, so we know that people are breaking the law. So it was even some of the in some of the surrounding counties there in Arizona, some of the police chiefs were complaining because they're saying that they're gonna have to take manpower away from what they consider more important more important jobs or crimes of a more serious nature, that they're gonna have to actually cut back on some of those in order to have officers going through these great details with people that they assume that are not they're not in the country legally. And I just don't see any way that Arizona truthfully can say that they're not going to discriminate, because I don't think they can prevent it. It's built into the bill. It basically is built into the law. The way the law is structured, if you stopping somebody for an initial traffic stop, and within that traffic stop, if something, who knows what that's supposed to be, happens or be said or looked at or something ain't right, you can now question their status in the United States. And I just can't feel that. And maybe because growing up in my own life, I've been a victim of racial profiling, should I say. And so maybe I'm going through my own experiences and knowing that what I felt like when it happened to me growing up in the area I grew in repeatedly. And I'm not a crook or thug, never been locked up, went to school, had an education, so I wasn't a dropout or anything like that, but I was still a victim of racial profiling on many occasions. And maybe I'm bringing my childhood experiences and into play today, and that's why I believe that when those people get pulled over, they are going to be checked and looked at, and it's going to be people. They probably will. I'm sure they will find people that aren't supposed to be here, and that's a good thing, because Arizona is right there at the border. So obviously you're going to have some things going on, but also you're going to wind up harassing people that has every right to be here, and that's what I'm concerned about. No one should be being harassed, and we have to find a different way. I know Nebraska was trying to, I guess they was getting ready to look at maybe passing a similar law, and I see that they have temporarily delayed their vote on that particular type of law. And someone is, I didn't see it actually, but I heard kind of like on a third party, something that maybe one of the people that are running for Senate here or whatever office here in Florida has kind of brought up the immigration issue, as far as saying maybe something down the lines of Florida needs some type of legislation like that. I don't know. That would be kind of hard. Florida is a melting pot of all types of people. I don't know how you're going to come to a conclusion who is who. I mean, in Florida, you just have so many different shades of skin and race and everything else in this state. I don't know how you would do it. You have to create a whole new police force, task force just for that. And I say that's not where your problem is. I still say your problem is at the beginning, the initial crossing over. That's the problem. Once people have crossed over, it's going to be almost impossible to figure out who is who. People are having kids in this country. Then what are you going to do? You're going to send them parents back and keep the kids. Then we're going to have orphans. Then who's going to take care of them? Then are you going to send kids back that are actually citizens? I mean, it's a disaster. Or are you going to say the kids are not citizens because the parents are illegal? I don't know. I assume if you're born here, you're a citizen here. That's what my assumption is. So I don't know how you would fix the problem other than going back again, repeating myself, back to the original point, and that's at the borders. Controlling those borders. The government, well, it doesn't matter who's the president, whether President Obama, President Bush, President Clinton, and it keeps going back. So the Republican, Democrat is irrelevant, because this problem with the borders have been going on in double-digit years. So that means none of the past presidents have done anything to prevent this stuff from happening. Oh yeah, we see a couple extra border patrols here and there, but that's not enough. We need to actually do as we do when we send people to these other countries where we spend millions of dollars protecting someone else and training someone else and all that stuff. Why don't we take those millions of dollars and apply them to our borders and we send people to space. We got all kind of technology, so I don't understand why we can't put a sophisticated system together that will prevent people from crossing that border at all points. I don't care if you got a checkpoint every 2 feet. I don't care if they run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The amount of money we spent in Iraq, I don't know what they said, $1 million a month, or a couple. I don't even remember the number, but it was high. So that with that kind of money we spent fooling around over there, we could have been over here.